In today's video, we'll be taking a look at Call of Duty's Devil's Brigade. Devil's Brigade was a third-person shooter game that was set in World War II, and it was developed by Underground Development. This game was intended to be played on the Xbox 360, on the PlayStation 3, and Microsoft Windows PC. Although this game had Activision as the publisher and Jason Vandenberg as the designer, their hard work would never get to see the light of day. The official name of the game would have been Call of Duty Devil's Brigade, and this game would have a big focus on orders, weapons, equipments, and vehicles. And because the game was far from completion, only some things can be seen in the form of screenshots that were taken back then. For example, some weapons that we see are the AK-47, the Thompson, and the MP-40. Some of the equipment seen are flashbangs, M67 grenades, and night vision goggles. Lastly, some of the vehicles that we see in these screenshots were the Opel Blitz, the SDKFZ 251, and the Tiger 1. And in terms of plot, because the game wasn't that far in development, we don't know all that much about it, except for the fact that it was set in World War II, and the developers wanted to focus a lot on giving direct orders. The soldiers in the game were essentially skillful, trained killing machines. The majority of the fight would take place in Italy and France. The developers were trying to create a 12 to 15 minute segment, also known as the vertical slice. The inspiration began with a German general who was in charge of Rome until American and European forces arrived. They were going to blow up the bridges and then stand back. However, in this scenario, the Devil's Brigade were first sent in to make sure that this bridge didn't get blown up by the Germans. Using something called squad control, you, the main player, would be able to sneakily fix bridges and place explosives, clearing a path for the Americans and preparing yourself to fight the enemy. Now, the reason for the game's cancellation would really come down to a merger that was happening at the time. When Infinity Ward came in, they wanted to control the Call of Duty IP, and they kind of pushed over the development for Devil's Brigade, and they focused on other things like Modern Warfare and other projects that they had. They basically grabbed Devil's Brigade and just threw it to the side. The game would never be released, and it would never be worked on again. Call of Duty's Devil's Brigade seemed to have the fundamental baseline to be exciting and entertaining for those who had a PS3, Xbox 360, or a PC at the time. I personally feel that it would have been a good or fun game to play, and from the screenshots that we see, it looks like I would have enjoyed the game as well, especially when I was younger. Call of Duty has now expanded to being a first-person shooter game, and so Devil's Brigade being a third-person shooter would have maybe changed the way that Call of Duty games would have been made going forward at the time. And it is unfortunate to see Call of Duty Devil's Brigade join a lineup of canceled games that we never really got to see from Call of Duty or from Activision. A lot of time and money went into this project, and it would have been good to see it fulfilled. But unfortunately, it will remain in the canceled graveyard.